you know how to start the Corsair, it's time to get airborne. Unlock the tail wheel by moving the T-handle to the upper position. Otherwise, turning will be very difficult. Increase throttle to 1000 to 1500 RPM and release the brakes to taxi away from the line. Allow the aircraft to get some speed. Once the aircraft is on the move, best taxi speed is maintained with approximately 800 RPM. Use rudder input along with tapping the brakes to change direction. Taxi to the runway and stop on centerline. Do not allow the aircraft to accelerate beyond 10 to 15 knots. The brakes are very effective, but don't attempt a long taxi requiring a lot of braking. You can't get rid of the heat, and as you can see, taxiing is necessarily slow because of the necessity of S-turns to get better forward vision.
Infield 1, passing waypoint 1 at 700. Uzi 1, airborne. Infield 1, passing waypoint.
Very good.
At 3000.
Now stop on centerline and hold the brakes. Prior to takeoff, you check the following. Wings spread and locked. Tail wheel locked. Arresting hook control up. Fuel tank selector on reserve. A 50-gallon standpipe in the main tank. The main tank is pressurized and self-sealing. It has a total capacity of 230 gallons, and it's the only tank to have a quantity gauge. Mixture control in automatic rich. Blower in neutral. Propeller control down for maximum RPM on the takeoff. Cow flaps 1/3 to 2/3 open. Intercooler closed. Oil cooler open as required. Flaps down to 20 degrees. Set the rudder tab 6 degrees right. Aileron 6 degrees right, wing down. Elevator tab 1 degree, nose up. These settings compensate for the left wing heaviness due to engine torque. Now hold the brakes and increase the throttle to 1700 RPM to check your mags fairly quickly. Drop shouldn't exceed 100 RPM and is usually between 50 and 75. Freedom from vibration is a good indication that the big engine is functioning properly. Throttle back to 750 RPM and press the spacebar when you're ready to go. It's time to take off. Ease the throttle forward slowly while holding the brakes and the stick fully back. When the manifold pressure reaches 30 inches, Release the brake and ease the stick slightly forward of the center position to raise the tail. As you keep increasing the throttle and the tail comes up, be prepared to counter the tendency to yaw left. She'll take off very nicely with 45 inches and 2700 RPM, but you can pull up to 53.5 inches
Infield
if
1,
needed.
passing waypoint 3
Don't pull
at
the airplane
3
up until you have 90 knots or more. If you do, you'll have some deficiency of aileron control and left wing heaviness. Smoothly fly it off the field. You're airborne. Now retract the landing gear and check the landing gear position indicator. When you have 110 to 120 knots and enough altitude, bring the flaps up in easy stages, about 10 degrees at a time. This way you can control a flap failure and you won't lose altitude. Note that flaps are hydraulically powered and have a safety valve. If extended, they will assume max allowed position depending on the aircraft's speed and flap position. This means that they will try to retract as you accelerate, or extract if you decelerate and forget to retract them. You can use full takeoff power for a military climb of about 3,000 feet per minute, but after a maximum of 5 minutes, you must throttle back to normal range power for continuous operation. 43.5 inches at 2550 RPM. In neutral blower. With this power setting, your rate of climb will be about 2,000 feet per minute at a best climbing speed of 125 knots. At about 8,000 feet, you'll have lost about 3 inches of manifold pressure. If you want to continue at the same rate of climb, you must throttle back 3 to 4 inches of mercury, open the intercooler flap, and shift to low blower. Increase your manifold pressure to 47.5 inches and keep climbing. You can carry this power up to 13,500 feet, where again, you will note the loss of about 3 inches of mercury. If you want more altitude, throttle back to lose an additional 3 to 4 inches and shift to high blower, followed by 48 inches of manifold pressure. Always keep your intercooler flaps about half open when using low or high blower to maintain intake mixture temperatures within safe limits. A red warning light will indicate excessive temperatures and warn you to reduce power. Open the intercooler flaps wide, and if necessary, shift to a lower blower. Use automatic rich for all your climbing and maneuvering. You're using a lot of power. And if your mixture is not rich enough, there's a danger of running up the engine. Use a partial power climb if the tactical situation permits. Around 135 knots is about the best indicated speed. The cylinder heads have a rather high limitation, 260 degrees, and this should be used with caution. Oil temperature shouldn't exceed 95 degrees. For a carrier takeoff, you'll use about half flaps 20 to 30 degrees with full power while holding the plane with the brakes. Extreme caution must be observed to hold the tail down with the stick to prevent nosing over and digging the prop into the deck. This concludes the takeoff lesson. You can exit now or fly around until your tanks are dry.